HHN 34 is only weeks away and the hype is rising. It's time to talk about this year's hype list. Hello everybody and welcome back. It is Michael from Hallowed Thrills back with another video, and that is right, we are just about 2 weeks until Horror Nights is officially upon us. I am super excited. Hope you guys are as well. And that hype, it's building, it's mounting, and it's finally time for us to talk about this year's hype list for the event. This is one of the videos that you guys always look forward to kind of get an idea of what I'm excited for and kind of give you guys a inside knowledge as far as what I am expecting to see in each thing and why I'm excited for each particular thing. But before we get anything though, please make sure you're subscribed and have the bell notifications turned on to get notified whenever I post a video. And also make sure you're following both Instagram and X. The links are down in the description below. But without further delay, let's start it off with the shows, then the scare zones, and finally finishing it off with the houses. So this year we have 2 shows. That is right, we finally have 2 shows back at this year's event, and there are 2 at this event that I am both excited for. Honestly, I'm excited for both of them, but one obviously more than the other. So we're gonna start off at our number 2 out of the 2 options, and that's going to be Nightmare Fuel. I'm excited for it, don't get me wrong, but this is now, I believe, our 4th year of seeing the Fuel Girls at the event. And for me at this point, it's getting a bit tiresome. They haven't really changed it up enough for me to get excited again year after year. And this year it's kind of the same vibe for me. It's feeling like it's gonna be the same thing. I know we've been told there's new showrunners this year, but it feels like it's going to be the same vibe as last year with the circus and just kind of changed up slightly. So it's on the bottom half of this hype list, definitely. Which means though, our number 1 hyped show for this year is obviously going to be Ghoulish, sorry, what is it? Hauntophonic, a Ghoulish Spectacular. I'm, like I said, super excited for Ghoulish. I loved the original that we had a few years ago. It was really awesome for the very short duration that we had it. I really wish they would have given it more of a full run, but unfortunately the hurricane kind of ruined that plan. But definitely, because of those hurricanes, if you are interested in this show at all, definitely get there and get into the event and see this show before, I'm gonna guess, the inevitable is gonna happen, where a hurricane comes in and basically ruins it again. Like I said though, super excited for this show. I love a good fountain show, and this is no exception to that rule. It's gonna be awesome, and I'm excited to see what kind of soundtrack they throw together for this one. But let's talk about our scare zones and street experiences, because I'm gonna lump both the 2 street experiences as well as all 4 scare zones this year into one category. Unfortunately, you're gonna see kind of why it's a bit unfair for these street experiences as far as these rankings go. So we're gonna start off at number 6. Number 6 for me is going to be Club Horror. This is gonna be over in San Francisco. There just isn't enough meat on the bone for this one to really have me care a lot about it. Undead DJ, we don't know if there's any more scare actors other than that. As far as the scare zone, as far as the street experience props go, as of right now, there isn't much. So it's kind of really hard to be excited for this particular experience. Do I think it's still going to be a vibe? Yes. Do I think it's still going to be fun? Yes. The entire event's going to be fun. There isn't going to be a real big weak spot anywhere, but I will say that this one in particular is just not for me. But moving on to our number 5 spot, and like I said, it's a bit unfair for these street experiences, but I will be putting Mel's Die-In Zombies here. But I will say it's a massive gap between Club Horror and Mel's Die-In Zombies as far as 6 to 5. I think that this is going to be a really awesome experience, and I hope that the fans really just kind of latch onto this so we could possibly see them build more onto a Mel's Die-In story, and maybe we see it in a wider scare zone in the future, and then possibly a house after that. But it seems like we are really diving into the Mel's Die-In kind of storyline, and like I said, I'm excited that we're building on it, and I'm excited to see what they do with this. But like I said, out of the two street experiences, this one is definitely seems the more fleshed out and seems like there's more love going into it. So I am super excited to see how it plays out and to see what we really get out of it. But let's move on to the actual main event of this category, which is our scare zones. So we have 4, 3, 2, and 1. Starting off at number 4. Now I did have these kind of shift around a little bit within the last week because we got some more information, more props have gone out, and for me, this one, unfortunately, due to those props, has dropped down for me. So number 4, I have Mutations Toxic 20s at number 4. Do I think the story for this one is good? Yeah, I think it's gonna be an awesome story. The props that are out right now are pretty cool. Just as of right now, we're missing that stage aspect of the scare zone that we have in New York at all times. We always seem to have one big stage up at the front, and as of right now, based on the construction that we're seeing in the park, it doesn't look like we're gonna have that moment in this scare zone this year, which kind of has me on the fence as to whether or not I think this is gonna be a well put together zone. The scare actors I know are gonna kill it. The vibe is gonna be great in this zone. And like I said, as far as what props we're seeing right now, it does look like it's going to be well constructed. It's just that one experience that we are missing from this zone. And so to me, as of right now, it feels like it's gonna feel like something is missing from this, and it's gonna feel like an incomplete zone. But I hope that I'm wrong. But as of right now, that's just the vibe that I'm kind of getting from this scare zone, is just that it doesn't feel fully put together and fully realized. But let's move on to number 3, which, due to its construction, complete opposite of our 4 spot, due to this zone's construction, it has jumped up in my rankings over the last couple weeks, and that is the Origins of Horror, our front scare zone right there in the Plaza of the Stars / Minion Alley. We have gotten so many props. They are starting to put up the trusses for the sign, for the archway. They have added a whole bunch of theming, a whole bunch of stained glass down through Minion Alley. They've added these like mini stages that are going to be throughout that section. It is really coming together as a fully fleshed scare zone, which, like I said, is something that we have not seen in this area of the park in quite some time, which is probably one of the main reasons why I'm so high on this zone, is that it's finally something good in the front of the park to really beckon you into the rest of the event. Will this probably drop down in my rankings once we actually see the zone and see what's going on? Probably. Realistically, I expect it to drop down, but as of right now, my hype is building more for this zone just based solely on the fact that there are details going into this zone finally this year, and it feels like it is going to be more fleshed out than it has been in previous years. So Origins of Horror slotting in at number 3 for me for scare zones. So let's move on to number 2. So number 2 and number 1 are kind of zones that I kind of went back and forth with over the past couple weeks since we got these scare zones announced, and with all the props coming out, I've just been like, wow, both of these feel like they're going to be leaps and bounds above everything else. But one of these had to go at number 2 and the other had to go at 1. So at number 2, I have Masquerade Dance with Death. This was originally, when it was announced, the number 1 on my hype list for scare zones, but with all of the props coming out for both these zones, one of these does feel a little bit more fleshed out for me at the current moment. So I am definitely getting more hyped for the latter rather than this one. This one I still feel like is going to be an amazing vibe, and the props right now that are coming out for it are immaculate, and I cannot wait to see what the elegant costumes and elaborate costumes that are going to be on the scare actors for this zone. But as of right now, as far as hype wise, it just does not match that #1 spot for me. And that #1 spot is the Cat Lady of Crooked Lane. This zone is everything that I wanted it to be as far as our Central Park zone goes. It is a vibe that has been missing from the event, a vibe that has been missing from that section of the park for quite some time. I think the last time that we had this type of vibe in this area was in 2018, which was one of my favorite years of all time. So getting those pumpkins back in the trees, getting an extension of this scare zone towards the back half, towards animal actors, is something much needed for this particular zone, as it does add more of an experience to this and adds more storytelling to this area. And that massive house that is at the end of that scare zone with a bunch of actor activated triggers and possible boo holes throughout the day, the little cattle chutes that are there. I am over the moon excited for this zone, and I really hope that it delivers, and I hope that the only thing that I'm concerned about for this zone is the possibility of the costumes and the masks for these scare actors and the prosthetics for these scare actors not being as good as I'm imagining them. In my mind, I feel like it's either going to go one or two ways. Either they're going to be super over hyper realistic humanoid cats, and I'm not going to like it because I think it's going to look too much like Cats the musical, and I'm just going to be like, ugh, that does not look good. Like almost like the movie that came out, gosh, probably more 5, 6, 7+ years ago now, with Taylor Swift, James Corden, Idris Elba, that Cats, where it was like really weird CGI. If it's like that, no, stop it right there. But if it's kind of more cartoony-esque, I'm interested. But like I said, it all depends on how they made these costumes for this scare zone. But other than that though, just based solely on the story that we have for it and what we are really looking at as far as the props and set pieces that are out currently, it's the #1 spot for me for scare zones. But now let's move on to houses. Houses, we have tons of houses to talk about, all 10 of them, but we have to start somewhere, and that is at number 10. Now I will say this list was a bit difficult for me because I am an original stan through and through for Horror Nights, but this year the IPs are looking unbelievably strong. So my hype list for this year for houses is a bit topsy-turvy than I normally like to have my hype list. So with that being said, number 10, I have Grave of Flesh. This is a house that we know probably the least about as far as facades, as far as story, as far as just really any details other than just we're being buried alive. We don't really know what kind of scare actors, what kind of costumes are going to be in it. So that's why it's kind of further down. Now, that also being said, this is another one of those boom or bust houses for me, where because we know so little, it could just absolutely skyrocket up my rankings. But as of right now, I don't know enough about it to warrant having it any higher than 10 on my hype list. And that's kind of the same reason moving into number 9, why this one is at number 9, and that is Dolls Let's Play Dead. We know a little bit more about this house than we do about Grave of Flesh, and we are seeing things of the facade. The facade looks okay. The story is, it's an interesting story. I just don't find dolls scary. So I just am not, I'm not really seeing how this is going to be a really cool, really scary house. It just feels like for me, it's just going to be like, oh, cool, yeah, oversized doll. Oh, cool, big eyeball in a window. I'm having a hard time seeing how I'm gonna really have a good time in this house. Like to me, this one is the one that I don't think is gonna move much for me. I feel like this is going to end up towards the bottom, but I would like to be surprised. I really would. But for me, just based solely on what I like and what I think this house is going to be, I'm just not excited for it really at all. Now, number eight, I hate putting it here because literally, so 10 and 9 are bottom of the barrel. Anything 8 and above at this point could move all over the place just because they're all so strong between the originals and IPs. And unfortunately, I did have to put one of our IPs this low at 8. And I didn't really like to put it down this low because I feel like it's still going to be a really cool house. But this one runs into the same issue that I have with dolls, is that I don't think there's going to be a lot of horror aspects into it. And that is Fallout. I love the games. Haven't seen the TV series yet, but the games are really cool. There are those bits of horror aspects in it that I could see them putting in here, but overall, I just don't think that this is going to be a Horror Night vibe. It's just gonna feel like something that I feel like should have more been at the movie, like the movie thing that they have over in Hollywood, where you can walk through the movies at like Horror Nights houses, but specifically for movies. I feel like this is more something that should have went there rather than Horror Nights. So I'm like I said, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. They could really knock this one out of the park and really add horror aspects into it, but I'm just not seeing it as of yet. I think it's going to be a thematically beautiful house, but it's just the horror aspect is what it's going to be missing for me. But let's move on to number 7. Number 7, I have the Gulkin Monsters of the North. This one, because of its location, is what's killing it for me. So this location is the same sprung tent, the same new sprung tent that we had the Universal Monsters house in last year. And that house was very snowy, very cold, very kind of Norse, and just there were sections of it that I'm worried we are gonna have repeats of sections because they didn't feel like tearing stuff down. And that's kind of where I'm at with this, is that it's too similar of a vibe of what was there last year, where I'm worried we're gonna see a lot of repeat areas because, oh, it can fit in there. I could be wrong, like I said. I really hope I am. I really hope they don't cheap out on this house, because if they don't, it could be really cool. We could see massive, like, beastly dog puppets. We could see a massive stilt walker of this character that they have made for this house. And I really hope they knock this one out of the park, because if they do, I hope that we see more of this like Norse mythology or just international mythology type houses in the future, rather than seeing more of the Latin American houses that we've seen in the past. Just expand our horizons to different folklore around the country and around the nation. I would really like to see us build more on that. But like I said, Gulkin is going to be at number 7 for me. Now on to number 6. This is where it really gets hard, because there's a lot in here that I'm like, on any given day I can change it up. And number 6 hurts me. It hurts me so much to put this here because I am so excited for this house. Its execution is what's really hurting it as of right now for me. Number 6 is Five Nights at Freddy's. The fact that it's the movie and not the games is part of it that's hurting it. If it was just solely based on the games, I'd be over the moon excited. But because they're focusing on aspects of the movie, or at least that's what it sounds like, they're still going to be focusing on aspects of the movie, I'm going to be a little bit like, okay, cool. I'm more going to be interested on the sections that were actually in the pizzeria, which is going to be awesome. I'm excited to see the puppets. I'm excited to see the animatronics. I'm excited to see everything in the costumes and everything that they have built into this. It's just, I'm concerned of the execution of this house. If it's just going to be the same rooms over and over again, and you just have, oh, Freddy popped out, ooh, Chica popped out, it's just going to be hard for me to really get into the vibe of the house. Like I said, I hope that it really immerses us, but it all will come down to the execution of this house. If it tells a story rather than it just being kind of a walkthrough of of just the same scene over and over again with another animatronic or another puppet. It really will come down to that. But let's talk about number 5. Number 5 was one of our first houses, was actually our first house that was announced, and that is El Artista, a Spanish Haunting. This is going to be our beautiful house of the year, and I'm gonna say it right now. It is going to be the most scenically beautiful, the most awesome set design, the most over the top, just everything about this house is going to be 10 out of 10. I'm excited for this one. This one could jump up super high in my rankings. I am a sucker for a beautiful house, and this one looks like it is going to fit the bill for that. The team that's working on it has worked on some of my favorite houses in the past, being Dead Man's Pier, Blood Moon, so those scenically beautiful houses. So I'm over the moon excited for this one. The fact that we're getting 3 separate facades for this house, and there's just gonna be endless possibilities for this house, and the amount of details that we have for this house are really what are sucking me into the possibility of this story for this particular house. But unfortunately, like I said, had to put it at number 5, which sucks once again, having to put 6 and 5 there, because both of those houses could be top contenders for House of the Year this year. Ooh, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Wow, 4, 3, 2, and 1 is really tough. Once again, it's just, the lineup for this year is so good, but number 4, it's gonna hurt me to say this, but I'm putting Terrifier at number 4. I'm excited for it, don't get me wrong, but we're hearing a lot about gore this, gore that. It's the greatest kills, it's the greatest hits, and it's giving me the vibe of Chucky Ultimate Kill Count, where it's just going to be kills, 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 and not really telling the story or bringing you into the movie. And that's what I like about Horror Nights houses for IPs. I like them to you know, show you the greatest hits, but also to suck you in and immerse you in the actual movie itself. If we're just going room after room of just Art the Clown just slaughtering people, there's not going to be any story to tell there, and it's just going to be repetitive. And that's what I'm worried about with this house. Am I excited for the gore? Yeah, because it's something that we've been missing in Horror Nights, which is why I still have it ranked as high as I do. But it's just, I think because of the repetitive nature of what I'm thinking it's going to be, I feel like it's just going to barely miss that top 3 mark for me. But speaking about top 3, let's move on to number 3. And I, once again, hate to put this one at 3 because I am over the moon excited for this property to come to the event. I am super excited to see what passion and what just over the top stuff they've put into this house. But it's going to be Horrors of the Wyatt 6. Yes, I think it's going to be great, because I have a hard time believing that they are going to mess this up. Mike Aiello, Roman, they all are keeping this as a passion project for them. They all love wrestling. They all have met Bray Wyatt. They know what his mind was like and what he wanted to do for a house like this. They have spoken with WWE. WWE has worked hand in hand with them with this. Bray's brother, Bo, worked with them to build this house, and they also have specific songs that were done for this house, specific like film and like stuff recorded with the group for this house. They really went all out hoping that this could be what Bray wanted, and that is why I'm super excited for this. Is it going to be the scariest house? Probably not, but there will be some absolutely terrifying sections, and I'm excited to see where they go with a story aspect of this house. Are we going to get a more developed story, or is it just going to be kind of like an Icons Captured style thing where each character of the Wyatt Six is going to have their own area? I'm interested to see where they go with it, but I really hope that they do tell a bit of a story with the Fiend, with the Wyatt Six, and really give you immersed into the story. And I really hope that it's not just, oh, they're there trashing Monday Night Raw, and now there you are, you're in the action. and you're gonna see people getting body slammed. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see wrestling in this house. I know it is a wrestling house and it's based on a wrestling IP, but that's not what I want to see out of this. I want to see the story of the characters and the story that they have built, rather than focusing on the wrestling aspect of the industry. But let's move on to number 2. Number 2 is our last original. Yes, Hatchet and Chain's Demon Bounty Hunters is slotting in at our number 2 spot. When this was announced, I was excited. I am excited to see my very first Western-based house at Horror Nights. I missed the house of Lightning Gulch in 26, and we really haven't had a full Western house since then. And I am over the moon excited for this. The characters seem great. The story that they can expand on since Slaughter Cinema 2 can be just amazing, and I am excited to see where they go with this story. And with it being in a sprung tent, I'm interested to see how they play with the height in those areas. It's interesting to see just like really where they go with this. But the concept is there, the characters are there, the story is there. They just need to kind of execute it as I'm expecting they will. And like I said, that is why I'm super excited for it, is that this has extreme amounts of potential. But number one is an IP that I have been praying to see in an event year. Last time we had this character was at HHN 25 in 2015. I did not see that. So this is my first opportunity to see Jason. So Jason Universe is number 1. I am over the moon excited for this. The team that worked on Insidious last year is working on this house. So it's gonna be scary. It's gonna be violent. It's gonna be in your face, non-stop action. They're saying it's gonna be Jason here, there, everywhere. I'm excited. I'm excited to see different Jasons from different movies, from different eras of the franchise. I am excited to see it all in one beautiful, horrifying house. And I get it. I'm a bit of a hypocrite. I said, oh, I don't want to see the greatest hits. I want there to be a story. In this one, I don't give a damn. I am excited for Jason. I really, really want to see this character. And I really hope I really hope that they freaking got the tallest of tall scare actors for this house, because if they did, it's gonna be great. And I like I said, cannot wait for it. But Jason slots in at my number 1 spot for my houses, and that does in fact wrap up this entire hype list. A lot of talking. I'm sorry if I droned on a little bit on some of these, but I am just super excited for HHN 34. We are, like I said, weeks away now. I will be at the premium Scream night before the event opens, and I will be there all opening weekend. I have expressed I will be hitting every single house. We will be breaking down food during premium Scream night. We'll be breaking down my reviews of each house. It's going to be an insane opening week/weekend, and I cannot wait to share it all with you guys. But if you did enjoy our hype list though for this year, please make sure you drop a like, and also comment down below your hype list for this year. Do you agree with my picks? Do you disagree with my picks? What are things that you are excited for that I might not be over the moon excited for? I'd like to know down in the comments below. But as always, I'm Michael from Hallowed Thrills, giving you the all clear, and all clear means you're out of here. See you guys next time.